All right. Hello, everybody. Making sure I got YouTube up this time because last stream I didn't see YouTube comments. When Universal left us our lovely ThrillGeek is one in a minion comment. I missed out on that. For some reason on Streamlabs over here, I have it on multi-stream and it's supposed to show comments from Twitch and YouTube and it didn't show it. So I missed out on YouTube comments, but I have them up on the screen. So hello, if you're watching on Twitch, if you're watching on YouTube, we appreciate you guys tuning in. Barry's here hanging out with us this evening. Say hello, Barry.
Hey everyone, welcome to the final ThrillGeek This week of 2022 as we are going to take a look back at theme parks and pop culture in 2022 and then a little look forward to next year.
Yeah, we're going to I have my notes here, my chicken scratches. We're going to go back pretty much back to the we're going to go back to the beginning of the year. 2022 was a kind of a return to normal year after the past couple years, 2020 and 2021 with the pandemic.
Is it normal? I don't know.
Normal-ish. Really quick in the chat. Hello, Duncan. Hello, John. Michael. Hello, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you guys. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you do that thumbs up, all that good stuff. Comment along as we begin our journey here. Back through 2022, and then like Barry said, we're gonna kind of go over what's to come in 2023. So let's begin, shall we?
Yes.
Let's go back.
Let us begin.
Back to a time. So I figured we start out. There's Tommy. What's up, Tommy? I figured we'd start off at Disney, of course. Let me see if I can get my notes up here so I'm not constantly looking down to my side. I'm looking up here. By the way, what do you guys think of this? Do you guys like this better? I'm gonna ask you guys a personal question right quick before we actually get going. Stay notes. Screw it. I give up. Do you guys like this camera better? I set this up for my Fox 35 interview this morning. So it looks like I'm looking at the camera versus if you guys have tuned in, I've had it over here. Let me know in the comments, what do you guys think? Is this more appropriate? So anyways, but yeah, I figured we start at Disney. Obviously Epcot, we'll start at Epcot. Cosmic Rewind opened.
I was there for that.
You were there for that. You were there for the media preview. Yeah. So I have to say with Cosmic Rewind, my first ride on it was, I had fun, but the ride has slowly grown on me the more and more I've ridden it. I've fallen more and more in love with it. When I first started, it was kind of I was like, oh, that was fun. You know, it really didn't do anything really special for me. But the more I rode it, the more I learned to love it, and I absolutely love Cosmic Rewind now. I don't know about you, Barry. What are your how many months later? What is your take on Cosmic Rewind?
I mean, it was definitely. I rode it 12 times the first day, and that was a little too much. But it's definitely not.
See, I like it, but I don't think I like it that much.
It's not a back-to-back ride thing, but I think the big thing with Cosmic Rewind is as you ride it over and over again, you get used to the flow of it.
Yeah.
And that's to me what makes it more fun is you get you know how to no different than riding any coaster, but especially almost comparison to sort of like wooden coasters. You know how to flow your body into
Sure.
the turns and the way and in this case not just the turns but also in the way that the car is moving as you go through the track, and that just makes it more fun.
Yeah.
I got to ride both that and of course go back to California Adventure and ride Mission Breakout. I still like Mission Breakout a little bit more. Yes, it's but as far as the Guardians rides go, to me Mission Breakout is just a little bit more fun.
Yeah.
And also Mission Breakout has a rocket animatronic. I mean, I think the only negatives to Cosmic Rewind is the complete lack of animatronics.
Yeah, there's not a single animatronic on that ride, which is kind
and
of a bummer.
I hate to say it, it's like with I felt like Mission Breakout's a little bit more fun because you have a little bit more you get a little bit more of the Guardians, not just hearing them.
And seeing them fly by, oh, there they go.
Yeah, there they go. You're actually seeing them. When you have the different show scenes in Mission Breakout. I mean, the only thing that problem I have with Cosmic Rerun right now is we're still doing virtual queue. How many months later? And
speaking of, I was there I was there for the media event last week with Emily for the Candlelight Processional media event that Disney invited us out to, and my light's going crazy.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that? It was like
yes,
strobing. I got strobe effects tonight for the stream. No, I got at the media event. It was like a half-day media event. Disney invited us out. They gave us a gift card for some food and to watch Gloria Estefan in Candlelight Processional. Anyways, back to what I was getting to. I got there at like 4:30, and there were still virtual queues available for Cosmic Rewind. And I was like,
I mean,
okay.
Yeah,
join?
I mean, and we've all seen the pictures on social media of the last hour. The attraction is open and there's literally no lines. Sometimes they're sending out empty trains, and it's just like, we're at a point now. Just let people wait in line. They want to wait. And
even with me getting the virtual queue at 4:30, it went by quick, so you could tell that there was no line because they went through the boarding groups like this. And when I got it, it was like a 300 and something minute wait for us to get to the ride. So I was like, all right, we'll watch Candlelight. Our Candlelight Processional was at 8:30. We had to sign up a specific one for the media event. So I was like, it looked like our boarding time was literally going to be right at 8:30. And it happened at like 8. So we watched the first like 15, 20 minutes of Candlelight, and then we had to go ride Cosmic. So anyways, I'm 100% with you on the, I wouldn't be surprised if early next year we see the virtual queue for,
because Tron's going to open and that's going to become virtual.
Tron's going to open. So, So, the other thing that opened up at, Epcot as they continue to work on the entrance, is Connections Cafe. And you've ate there, Barry, right? You've had some food there at Connections Cafe.
I've had some food there, and I was there that was also part of the Guardians media event. I like it. It's a massive improvement over Electric Umbrella. Same thing. You basically have the quick service on one side, and then they finally have a Starbucks in a Disney park that can handle the amount of people who want to get Starbucks in a Disney park. Because it's a built up from the ground location. Instead of taking a previous location and converting it to Starbucks, and it can actually handle the crowds there. I think the only drawback to Connections Cafe is hindsight being 2020. It's like they probably should have left the second floor in because there's definitely been issues with seating in there, especially morning and lunchtime.
Yeah.
It's definitely had its issues. I know the menu for the most part has stayed pretty consistent. It has changed up a little bit.
The Asian chicken sesame salad. Cheryl got that the last time we were there. That was really good.
That's like one of the best things on the menu. I know. I like the hand breaded chicken sandwich. I know it's been hit or miss with some people.
I got that. I got that the same day a couple weeks ago when we were there with the kids. She got the Asian sesame chicken salad, and I got the. I was like, let me try the chicken sandwich, and it was actually pretty good. It was pretty good.
And and everyone's been sort of up and down as far as the pizza go, and I know some of that has changed too. I think some of the pizza options have changed.
I think one of the kids got the pizza. I want to say they got the pepperoni. I can't remember. It was actually good pizza.
No, for quick service Disney pizza, it's actually because it's actually they actually do the dough there.
Yeah, they make it fresh there. It's not the regular Disney. Quick service, pizza Rizzo, or
looks like DiGiorno, really bad DiGiorno,
really bad DiGiorno.
But no, I mean it's a great addition, and that whole area there with Connections and the Creation Shop, just all really nice, and it's going to be nice. We've now seen. We'll talk about later in 2023 part.
Yeah, we'll
but,
touch on the future stuff later on.
More stuff gets done. Yay.
Yeah, it'll be so nice for that area to be done, but we'll talk about that later. Over at Magic Kingdom, it was really like a lot of stuff just reopening. Festival of Fantasy came back. It was nice to see the parade back after being closed for COVID. Mickey's Friendship Fair and the Cavalcade. I think it was Adventure's Friends Cavalcade with all the kind of heroes and heroines on it of Disney. It had.
I think the biggest issue with Festival of Fantasy is we lost a float.
Yeah.
For a parade that really wasn't that big to begin with.
Yeah.
I guess the bonus thing is both, I believe, Boo to You and Once Upon a Christmas Time are back to being fully the way they were before.
Yeah.
So that's at least a bonus. I don't know what they're waiting for not to bring Festival of Fantasy fully back up to what it is before.
Yeah, I don't know.
They have Merida and the Disney Adventures Cavalcade, but we've had these discussions before. It's like, what the heck is going on with the characters at Disney World? Because you go to Disneyland and there is meet and greet characters everywhere.
Yeah.
They apparently don't have an issue having fill all these meet and greet positions.
Yeah.
We discuss, you can meet Maribel in California Adventure and Disneyland. Here, we're a year later now, you still can't meet Maribel anywhere. Heck, you still can't meet Miguel anywhere. Like, how many years later? Like, almost, what, 3 years later since 3 or 4 years since Coco came out, and you still can't meet Miguel anywhere here. It's nice that they have the Disney Adventure Friends Cavalcade. Obviously, I'm assuming that one's going to change. The Mickey one is we're all assuming that's going to go away with the 50th leaving. So we may just end up down to one cavalcade. I'd be fine if they got rid of the cavalcades now. They served their purpose.
Yeah, they were kind of a filler for, kind of in between, bringing the parades back and stuff. And, I think it's time to, like you said, bring back Festival Fantasy Parade to full what it is.
Yeah.
What it was.
Yeah, I'd rather have Festival of Fantasy fully back, and then, like we said, put Mirabelle and Miguel somewhere. I mean, there's a Mexico pavilion. Duh. It's like
they have a couple meet and greet areas in the Mexico pavilion.
Miguel and Mirabelle can basically, she could go in Adventureland. I don't want to say Animal Kingdom because I think that's really being a stereotype, but but she could easily go in Adventureland somewhere. I think it's time. I hate to say it, but I would. We know they're not going to do it, but I would be happy if they brought back Move It, Shake It now. It's like it's funny to be.
Where
almost
did I hear? I heard the Move It, Shake It music somewhere.
Well, they use Vamos in the Adventures Cavalcade.
Yeah, I heard the Move It, Shake It, Celebrate It music somewhere. Disney uses it somewhere.
They do use it somewhere. And
maybe it was on the ship when we were on the Disney Dream.
It is on the ship.
I think they use it on the Disney on the ships. Ship. Yeah, they use it.
So,
I think it was the going away part, the sailing away celebration. They use it. Yeah, that's what it was.
I think I saw a video of that. So.
Yeah, I was like, that music sounds familiar. So, all right. Moving on over to Animal Kingdom, obviously Finding Nemo, The Big Blue, and Beyond made its debut, the new updated Nemo musical show, which had a big update with its giant LED screen. I was there for the media preview for that. And then, of course, over at Hollywood Studios, Fantasmic came back just at the last minute to make it out for this year. We've kind of shared our thoughts on the new Fantasmic. It's fantastic. It's refreshed. If you're planning on coming, anytime soon, if you're coming down for the holidays to Disney World, be sure not to miss Fantasmic.
I mean, I feel like we've gone over this before. They fixed probably the biggest flaw in the show with the Pocahontas segment. That's massively improved. The negatives of the show are still there. The bubble sequence goes on for way too long.
The dreaded bubble sequence. But yeah, no, the show visually got tons of upgrades. Not just the addition of the new scenes with Aladdin, Frozen, and Moana, but just visually, the lasers, the lighting, it all got upgraded, and it absolutely looks fantastic.
Yeah.
So. And then I have a few miscellaneous things written down here for Disney for 2022. Obviously, Galactic Star Cruiser opened up, and I forgot who posted it, but it's still I guess it's still doing pretty well from what I saw. 2022 date or 2023 dates. A lot of 2023 dates have already sold out. I haven't looked at the reservation calendar, but there were a lot of people up in arms about Galactic Star Cruiser, whether it was going to be able to hold these reservations, if it was something that was going to continue to be, because it's $5,000 for the 2-night Star Wars experience, and so there was a lot of debate about whether or not this thing would be whether or not it could hold its own with reservations with the price tag and how short it is.
So far it is. We'll see what happens in 2023. We've seen them offer DVC members to exchange points, not really at a discount. It wasn't really a discount.
I learned about that the hard way. I was telling people that there was a discount, but then I read that it was a points thing. You could exchange points for Star Cruiser.
We'll know things aren't going good when they offer, say, a Florida resident discount.
I think when the discounts start popping up for Galactic Star Cruiser, I think that's when we would be a little bit more concerned that it's not going well.
Because it's not 2020. Like Cirque du Soleil Drawn to Life has already started offering Florida resident discounts. So.
Yeah. That's everything I have for Disney. I don't think pretty much, just for what happened this year for 2022, the main things. I'm sure there's some other little things in between there that have been. The other thing I had written down was Magic Band Plus was introduced, but I haven't bought one. I don't think you've bought one.
No, I want to play the Bounty Hunter game at some point.
Yeah,
but do I want to spend the money to get a Magic Band? I think the price on them are just it's ridiculous. I don't know.
They're what, $40?
$40, I think, for the basic one, or $34.99 for the basic one.
Yeah.
And then it's more than that for any specialty, any of the character or other types.
Like the limited editions and that sort of thing. Yeah.
And it's just, I don't.
Yeah, I'm kind of like you said. I want to play the Bounty Hunter game, but that's really it. They had the 50th statue thing, which you could wave them in front of them and they could play like music or something.
I'd be and I have a feeling those 50th statues. I have a feeling they might be staying after the 50th.
Yeah,
especially if that's one of the things that they've touted. They might just take the 50 logo off there. But
So all right, moving on. We really didn't do a live stream for Halloween Horror Nights, so we're going to take a little chunk of time and kind of give our final thoughts on Halloween Horror Nights 2022. So yeah, HHN 31. I love the theme this year. It was fantastic. The HHN 31 Halloween, October 31st. The overall theme was fantastic this year. I think Universal really killed it with the theme. With just the vibe of the event this year.
But what did you feel about the park-wide music loop?
I wasn't having it. I didn't have my synthwave. You have to admit, HHN 29 had the best music loop ever for any HHN event. It hit perfectly. Not because it was an 80s vibe, but like that year I learned synthwave, like the dark synthwave stuff, like the stuff that I listen to, like Carpenter Brute and all these dark synthwave artists, is perfect for HHN. And this year's music, it wasn't that I didn't like it. It didn't fit. I couldn't understand it. Like it didn't set the mood for me very well.
And it was the loop was too short.
Yeah, it was a very short music loop, but the music just I couldn't get into it this year. We're talking about the park wide music. I couldn't get into it. But obviously the houses across the board, they were all at least good this year.
Yeah.
Horror's a Blumhouse. Hellblock Horror was the one that got a bad rap. I had hit or miss with this house. I think it got a little bit better as it went on. What else?
That house really all depended on how hard the cast was bringing it.
Yeah.
When you were going through the house.
Yeah.
Because there's some times where they just weren't really,
And there were so many changes in that house too. Like I'd walk through and I would see completely different stuff than another time I would go in. They changed the characters in that house a lot. And then, like I said, Horror's a Blumhouse. Obviously, Freaky and The Black Phone.
I know a lot of people really like that house. That house was always hit or miss for me.
Yeah.
It's I mean, the Black Phone part, perfect, like just setting the mood and just the amount of darkness in it too.
Yeah, I really like the Black Phone part.
The Freaky part was okay. I mean, they didn't really have a lot of space, so it was, I felt like it was really hard to convey, because that movie is basically a horror comedy, and they just had such a short amount of space that I felt like for me it didn't translate all that well. But then the Black Phone part was perfect.
Yeah, the Black Phone part I liked a lot. It hit the vibe just right, and it was dark, and it was creepy. Another house that was kind of hit or miss was Spirits of the Coven. This house, for me, I love the way it started off, but then it just started to the story just got muddy for me.
That house underwent a couple of changes over the first few weeks.
Yeah.
That house, I think the thing that and yes, we do one of the ThrillGeek people was in that house, and she was absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I'm not taking anything away from the scare actors. They were all amazing.
The scare actors were amazing. The amount of I felt like the amount of boo holes in that house that I don't know were misdirects or used, and I did the lights on tour, and I feel like, if I remember correctly, there's triggers in that house that weren't even used.
There was a lot of dead space several times that I went through that house.
And they did add a couple of more scare actors in a couple of different positions in that house.
Yeah.
I think the mood in that house, I got to do a run through it pretty much by myself.
Yeah.
And I will say in that run through, that was the best run through I had of that house, because being in there by yourself, that creepy vibe in the back half of that house was really, it really gave you a sense of dread.
Yeah.
When you were all alone, walking through it with the lighting and the sound and everything. That was definitely the highlight for that one for me.
Yeah. Next is Fiesta de Chupacabras, our Chupa babies.
Absolutely love that house. Absolutely, I do too. Love the fact that they stuck to having the villagers speak in Spanish. It stuck to an authenticity that I feel like we haven't really seen in a house like that. We really haven't seen a house like that before.
Weren't a lot of I mean, I don't know if all, but weren't most of the scare actors Latina too? Didn't they pretty much stick to?
Yes.
Yeah. Which is really cool.
No, it was just the great facade of you walking in, and I mean just the village in the background.
Yeah, the facade was really cool.
Walking through what sort of like the town square area, and then the puppets, the Choopy baby puppets.
Yeah, they were great.
Absolutely great.
Yeah.
And that was another one I got to do lights on tour, and the level of detail that that you don't see when all the lighting is on in that house was nuts. The amount of
I'm
extra little
sure
things
there were things that I constantly picked up, and you just doing normal runs through the house.
that you like you barely picked up when you walked through with the lighting and everything on.
I had several. Go ahead.
Just the level of detail in that house was just amazing.
My two sisters, they're always terrified if any of the houses have any big puppets in it, they're terrified. So Chupacabras was the one that they were terrified of. So I had several fantastic runs through with them through it. So next up, Bugs Eaten Alive, the Bug House, Miss Emily's favorite.
You and me I feel like you and me were the only ones who were just sort of like,
yeah, I was kind of about the house. I think it got a lot of hype pre-event.
I think they way overhyped things pre-event.
Yeah, I this was one of the houses that got super hyped up, and I think that got to me. And unfortunately, I shouldn't say let down. I wasn't let down. The house was the silly comedy fun.
Oh,
house.
It totally captures that 50s vibe, that mid-century vibe. And the scare actors in that house were amazing.
Chub Grub.
Yeah, just did an amazing job. Did I ever get scared in that house? No, not once.
No, I don't think I ever. I mean, given I've said this several times, I don't get scared of Halloween Horror Nights a whole lot anymore. And I don't think, but there were several houses this year where at least I got jolted or like a flinch at least once.
This year, and I don't know if it's because probably this year was the least I've gone in a long time.
Yeah,
I got jolted more this year than I can't even. I think the past few years combined.
Yeah,
and it's mainly from two houses we haven't even discussed yet.
Speaking of, we can move on here. Next up on my list here, I have Descendants of Destruction. I think this house was really underrated. This house grew on me a lot. It was dark. It was creepy. It was loud. It was a pretty intense house. I think I was in the minority for saying I like Descendants of Destruction.
The amount of stuff that they crammed,
the amount of crap they crammed into that tent building.
I mean, there's basically 3 subway cars in that house.
There's subway cars. Yeah, there's all sorts of crap in there that they stuffed in there. So
it's and one of them is like you just see it.
Yeah,
there's one of them you just see. There's one of you walk through.
There's one
back, and then there's one that's that's going up.
Yeah,
and I realize they do use mirrors to make it.
The mirror effect to make it look like it's going. Yeah,
but it's still a mocked up subway car inside of a tent house.
And this was a tent house.
Mocked up subway cars in a tent house.
Yeah.
No, that was one. You and I have discussed this before. Anything that screws with our eyes and deals with darkness is how you're going to get myself or Clint in a house.
Yeah, for sure.
And I definitely, that was one where they definitely got me a couple times.
Yeah, no, it was underrated for me. I don't think that house got there wasn't a lot of hate for Descendants of Destruction, but there also wasn't a lot of talk about it. Which is kind of which is why I'm saying I think it was kind of underrated.
Yeah.
All right, next up, The Weeknd After Hours Nightmare. I think this was probably the biggest surprise.
Yes.
Out of HHN 31, if I can say so myself. We've had music-based houses before. And I wasn't too sure where they were going with the Weeknd house, and I remember when you and I went through media night, we were pretty taken back. We were pretty blown away by it.
Some of the best lighting I've ever seen in a house.
Yeah.
This is one of the houses where I got a couple of times.
Yeah.
Throughout the event. By
the wallpaper person got me at the
wallpaper
end.
Got me one time.
Yeah.
They didn't always have the misdirect where you had the big monster on stilts. It they weren't always there all the time, and then the other monster came out of the wall. That got me one
Oh yeah,
time.
yeah.
Um, I'm pretty sure one of our scare actor friends, Avion, got me one time because he had a great scare.
Yeah, there was a lot of the scares in that house were the typical, somebody holding still and quick move in, which are all really good scares. Those get me too. The ones where you can look at them, you're like, oh, I know you're there, I know you're there, and then they do the quick like wah and flinch at you.
Great set design, lighting, costuming, and that was really cool too.
Yeah. So. All right, moving on. Halloween.
I know I'm in the minority, but I was just meh about this house all year long. I realized, this one was like, we're just going to take you through the house for the most part. And it really was boring to me. This was another one I got to do the lights on tour, and the design in the house. I mean, you're going through the house, and that's really about it.
Yeah. I think Halloween HHN 24. It set the bar so high for this house because that house was phenomenal. And I don't know. I didn't know where they were going with this house. I didn't know what to expect. And there were a few good moments in it, but I'm with you. I couldn't get into this house. And this was one that I had several runs through.
It never, much like not as bad as Chainsaw Massacre last year, where I just really did not care for that house at all.
Yes, Michael, this is my Whataburger cup.
This year it was like going back to the well again one too many times.
Yeah, I mean it was good to see Michael Myers back. We all love Michael Myers. I think that was about one of the few positive things about the Halloween house. Unfortunately, it didn't do anything for me personally. There were a handful of people that said they enjoyed it, but it didn't do a whole lot.
Yeah, I feel if we go back to Halloween again, let's just do the first movie of the new trilogy.
Yeah, I'm hoping we get something with the new trilogy, the 2018, and we can skip Halloween Kills and go right to Halloween Ends. All right, moving on. Universal Monsters Legends Collide. This house for me started off. We had a really meh run through on media night, and I was not impressed at all. But things changed quickly with this house, and it became, I think, for a lot of people, one of their favorites.
Easily, I don't know what happened from opening night to it felt like the second weekend.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was show direction or if it was the scare actors getting together or what, but after starting with that second weekend, good Lord, they just brought it. And
it was, I don't know who lit a fire under the scare actors, but it was intense. They really cranked it up in that house.
They cranked it up, and that's another house. They got me multiple times in that house. And just if you hit it, there's that one back-to-back. There's a couple of those back-to-back scares. When you hit those just right, it was just like perfection.
Well, there's the triple scare at the end with Wolfman, Dracula, and Mummy.
Yeah, it's like Wolfman, Mummy, and if you hit Dracula on the bungee, that was the hardest scare to get throughout the entire event, was Dracula on the bungee. But man, when you hit those 1, 2, 3, that was just like pure perfection. And
it was.
And kudos to the scare actors, because they took what was a very mummy heavy concept. I think that was our sort of complaint in the beginning.
Yeah.
But they ran with it, and it just got better and better as the event went along. And there's a reason why I believe they won House of the Year. So
Sorry, I'm typing something here. Last but not least, Dead Man's Pier, Winter's Wake.
Easily, hands down, in my 16, 17 years of going, the most beautiful house they have ever created.
Yeah.
Jaw just basically created a fishing village. Beautiful lighting, haunting score, and I don't know if it will ever be topped the moment you walk out of the boathouse onto like the dock, and there's the ship, and there's the widow playing the violin, and it's storming, and
You
it's
got
just
the
one of
lighthouse light
the light.
rotating. It's just
That was the other thing. The lighthouse. You could see the lighthouse
you
throughout
could
the
see the lighthouse
entire
rotating.
walking through the entire house. I mean, literally the first time we went through, it's like goosebumps were like on my arms when we walked into it.
Yeah,
Out of the
it was
boathouse.
my only complaint about that house was it was short.
Yeah, it is short.
That's the only complaint I have about that house, because it was my favorite. It was my number one, but it just once you see the lighthouse scene, Lily, I see your question. We'll get to it in a minute. Once you see the like you were talking about, the boat scene with her on the front of the boat, you walk through, you see the bungee guys swinging back and forth, and like that's it. I think you walk through like one other hallway, and it ends before it like begins, and you're like, I want more.
Yeah,
I want more.
It's such a beautiful house, and I think even to the fact that the one effect that I guess what they had wanted to work but never got to work properly, the boathouse, there was supposed to be water in the boathouse.
Yeah.
With like literally like waves lapping up to like the rowboat that was in the boathouse. Just not the scariest house, but just so beautiful. So many sections of that house they built roofs.
Yeah. The
Which you
facades were
normally do
insane. Or the
you normally do
set
not
pieces.
get when you walk through a set piece normally in a soundstage house. There's not a roof.
Yeah.
Through most houses, period. There's so many sections of that house where they built actual roofs, which is an expensive thing when they do that, because then they have to add fire safety stuff
Yep.
into it for when they do that. So that's one of the reasons why they don't do that a lot. And just the level of just the detail, the aging, just everything about that house was like I said, the most beautiful house I have ever walked through in my entire time going to that event.
I agree. It was a beautiful house. I'm certainly gonna miss it. And then really quick, I'm not gonna go one by one. All the scare zones were at least great this year. I mean, you got what was the one in Production Central, Horrors of Halloween, which was but that scare zone's always tough. You got Sweet Revenge, in New York, amazing scare zone. Scarecrow, Cursed Soil, which was fantastic. Like I said, Horrors of Halloween in the entrance, Conjure the Dark in San Francisco, and Graveyard Deadly Unrest in Hollywood. One of the best scare zones we've gotten at Halloween Horror Nights was Graveyard Deadly Unrest. I absolutely love that scare zone.
Hands down, the best Hollywood scare zone I think they've ever done. It was like walking through a graveyard.
Yeah. It was fantastic.
They and the scare actors in that zone brought it. Same thing, Sweet Revenge. The scare actors, like, creating backstories for all their characters, the stuff that would go on.
Yep.
You could just sit in that scare zone and just watch.
I 100%. There were towards the end of the event, that was my vibe. Sweet Revenge was too. There were several nights where I just hung out in Sweet Revenge, but the twins in Graveyard Deadly Unrest, I could watch them all night. They were so much fun to watch. And yeah, no, the scare zones were so great this year. Really quick, Lily4884 in the chat, she says, I couldn't make it HHN this year. Can't wait to go back next year. Were there any specialty food items they had this year that you hope to see back in the future?
I'm trying to think off the top of my head.
I like the pizza skull. The pizza skull was good. We tried that at the media event. And the corn dog on a stick was actually surprisingly good. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like this year there were more hits than misses compared to the previous year.
You tried the Little Boo pumpkin bun thing, didn't you, at the media event?
Yeah, that was pretty good. A
Yeah.
lot of the vegan items this year were actually pretty good.
Yeah.
That's something that Universal, I think, is this year, not just with Halloween Horror Nights, but overall has started to catch up to Disney on. It's always been their one thing that they haven't been done the best on is vegan items.
And John says, "Will we see the Good Guys burger again?" Well, Chucky's coming back next year, so who knows?
Yeah,
John?
I imagine we're going to see some iteration of the Good Guys booth again next year.
Some kind of Chucky food booth will probably be coming back
Chucky,
next year.
Chucky's going to, I mean, who knows? Chucky may be the full-blown icon next year. So
yeah, well, that announcement, they made that announcement quick that Chucky's coming next year.
Yeah.
But
so we know one house for next year. We've got 9 to go.
Yeah. Yeah, John, I saw that the pizza skull is available at that little hot dog cart outside of Skull Island when I was there with the kids. What was it, last week when I went with the kids and Cheryl? I think it was last week. Whenever,
yeah.
I don't know. Anyways, but yeah, no, I saw that the pizza skull was there. I was like, yes, I get a pizza skull year round now. But yeah, I think that kind of wraps up HHN 31. Overall, like I said at the beginning when we started talking about it, absolutely fantastic event this year.
Busiest it's ever been.
Yeah, the crowds were huge this year. It was massive crowds every single night. I think the beginning of the event was moderate, I think, as far as crowds go, but come October, there were a lot of people there.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think that wraps it up for Halloween Horror Nights 31. So there we can wrap up HHN 31. I think next year for the guide, people love the guide. I think next year we're going to separate it and do a food guide separately because it just makes the guide too long.
Yeah.
So a little teaser for you for what's to come for the HHN Ultimate Thrill Guide.
I think also due to the success of like what was it, the Frequent Fear video, we may try to do a little bit more guide like videos next year of giving you.
I will take full credit for the
coming up with the idea.
Yeah. No, that video did really well. The Stay in Stream video did really well on our YouTube channel. So thank you to everybody for checking that out. It was kind of a team effort, as you saw if you watched the video. I did a part, Travis did a part, Barry did a part, Emily did a part. So it was kind of a fun video for all four. Yeah, all four of us to
we did that, and we did a food video, and I think next year we'll try to concentrate more on getting all that, opening weekend, and try to get you guys more of an idea at the beginning of it as soon as possible. Like, this is what you need to do.
we can try and sound like more professional, and we know what we're doing because we call ourselves HHN experts after all.
Yes.
So, but anyways, yeah, thank you everybody for, checking out all of our HHN content over the last several months. We really appreciate it. And of course we will be back next year.
And to all those scare actors, we're sorry. We both, Clint and I, has shot Scare Zone videos that neither one of us have gotten around to.
Yeah, I'm about a fourth of the way through I have so much video, like, you don't understand. I got so many good shots this year. I could make like 3 Scare Zone. I usually do like a music video, put it to music and stuff. I could easily make like 2 or 3 music videos. So yeah, no, thank you to all the scare actors for being amazing when I'm out there with my camera,
Yeah.
I don't ask for anything, I'm not one of those people that, number one, don't touch the scare actors ever. But there's people out there that ask for a picture, and I just get in the Scare Zone and I vibe, and the scare actors see my camera, and 9 times out of 10 they'll do something cool for me. So thank you to all the really cool scare actors.
Thank you to all of them.
All of them. You guys
who played with us, and whenever we were in the Scare Zone.
Yeah, some of the scare actors just are really fun to interact with. They stay in character, but they're fun to interact with. So
yeah.
All right. Let's wrap up 2022 really quick. We'll get through these things actually kind of quick here. SeaWorld introduced Icebreaker. which I still have yet to ride.
Same. And I was
Neither one of us have ridden Icebreaker yet.
For the Hallow Scream media night, and I was like,
yeah. I love you, SeaWorld. I do, but I have no interest in riding that.
Zero.
We'll get there. My oldest son, Jordan, he wants to ride it. Maybe my middle one, Connor, he'll ride it.
I was going to say, have you even been you haven't even been to SeaWorld for the Christmas event yet?
No, I don't know. You know, I don't know. We've just been so busy.
Yeah.
And when we get a little bit of time, you know, we go over to Disney for something. You know, I feel bad, and you know, we haven't been to SeaWorld in at least a year.
I don't even have a pass. So
yeah, we still have passes.
Travis.
Yeah. We still have passes. We haven't had time to go. You know, life and everything it just, you know, I feel bad. I love SeaWorld. You know, it's such a fun park, but I haven't been able to get out there. We'll get out there soon, I promise. But yeah, Icebreaker opened up at SeaWorld, Busch Gardens. We finally got our Iron Gwazi. Finally.
Yeah.
Finally, we got our RMC goodness, and it did not disappoint.
Yeah, and you can clearly go to our YouTube channel and watch Clint and I.
You can see our reactions and all that,
like madmen.
Yeah,
on our first ride.
Yeah, that ride just. Yeah.
The irony is, I still haven't been back since then. So,
I took the kids. I took Cheryl down and the kids for the Beer Fest media event. They invited us down for that, and I got Jordan on, and he loved it. But yeah, no, Iron Gwazi, do not miss that ride. If you're coming down,
so good,
and you're a coaster fanatic, do not miss Iron Gwazi. Between Iron Gwazi and Velocicoaster, it is a great time to be a coaster enthusiast in the state of Florida. Whether you're visiting, whether you're here, you know, living, Iron Gwazi and Velocicoaster are two of the best coasters, probably in the Southeast, maybe the East Coast of the U.S. They're great coasters. I'm gonna, you know, piss off all the Cedar Point fanboys. Well, Steel Vengeance. Yeah. I get it. And then really quick, down in Legoland, Peppa Pig theme park opened up earlier this year, which I forgot about because I thought that was like I always say, these last few years have been a blur.
It's still. We'll talk about it when we get to pop culture. It's like the Batman came out this year.
Yeah.
Does it not feel like it came out last year?
Yep. And then I think that's it as far as 2022 goes, as far as the major theme park additions. So do you want to?
Yeah, because nothing really opened at Disneyland this year.
No, nothing really. I mean,
it was all last year when they reopened.
Well, Avengers Campus opened
last year.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. I had to think there for a second. Sorry, awkward pause. So okay, do we want to go into really quick? We can do pop culture now. Quick talk about movies, and then we'll wrap up. 2023. You want to do that?
Yeah. So Clint, what was your favorite movie of 2022?
What was my favorite movie of 2022? Quick in the chat, let me know right now. What was my favorite movie of 2022? First person to get it. Come on.
Everyone knows this.
Yeah. If you don't know this, then you don't.
How many times have you watched Top Gun Maverick?
Oh shit. Excuse my language. Since it's come out on streaming, too many.
I still have only watched it one time.
Yeah, I know you because you're just a party pooper. No, yeah. You know, I don't know where to begin talking about that movie. You see it all on Twitter, so just Maverick was everything that I had hoped for in a Top Gun sequel and more. I know I haven't. We always make fun of my obsession with it, but it is such a good movie, and I left that night with Brian from Inside Universal and Connor, and we saw it up north of Orlando. And I left that movie theater just so full of just nostalgia, and just it was such a good movie. Like I hadn't felt that leaving a movie theater probably since like No, it was even a different vibe compared to like, it was a different feeling compared to like Avengers movies, like Endgame and Infinity War. It was a different feeling of like, it was so refreshing to see just a good, fun movie in the movie theater. And I don't know, it's hard for me to explain. But yeah, no, Maverick was my favorite movie. And like you said, Batman came out this year, which I really enjoyed. And apparently it is not, all this crazy stuff going on with James Gunn and DC, him taking over DC, all these decisions he's making. From what I saw, they're going to continue with his Batman character.
Yeah.
So, which is
I will admit that I didn't. The crazy thing is I didn't see it till I think maybe the third weekend it was out.
Yeah.
And I was just blown away the entire time. It's definitely one of my favorites of the year. My favorite movie of the year. And I know I'm not the only one. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once is one of the best, not even just my favorite of the year, one of the best movies I have ever seen.
I still haven't seen it. I need to.
It's so good. I think it's on Amazon Prime now.
Is it?
It's so good. And Michelle Yeoh, and I know I'm going to screw up his K Kwan. I know I'm screwing up his name, and Stephanie Sue. They deserve all the awards. It's one of the most innovative, most amazing movies I've ever seen. And I know they've already won a lot of critics awards. Michelle Yeoh better win the Oscar. But no, that I really liked Avatar: The Way of Water. I never thought I would.
I was going to say, let's briefly talk about The Way of Water, because both you and I actually liked it.
I'm not the biggest fan of the first movie.
The first one I couldn't get into it. I kept trying to get into it, but I couldn't get into that movie for some reason.
It's a good movie, but to me it wasn't the greatest movie. I was in, I saw it at Cinemark XD 3D. The movie's jaw dropping. I know a lot of people, the variable frame rate thing didn't bother me. I know some people it's bothered them because, certain scenes are in different frame rates. The underwater scenes and the action scenes are in different frame rates. I have never seen a movie this visually stunning before. It literally, when I know we jokingly say about 3D, it literally leaps off the freaking screen.
Yeah.
And
the 3D adds like an extra level of clarity to it too.
Yeah, those underwater those underwater
unreal.
Scenes are unreal, and just
we were talking about this at work. They always say that water is, given technology has advanced and it's probably easier now, but water is one of the hardest things to animate.
Yeah, and I mean, they shot underwater.
Yeah.
The underwater scenes were motion captured underwater.
Yeah. Which is unreal.
Just unreal.
Did you see that Kate Winslet could she learned to hold her breath for like 7 minutes or something like that?
They all learned to hold. They all trained basically free dive training.
Yeah. That's crazy.
They learned to hold their breath for 5 to 7 minutes.
I think hers, what she said, the longest she could do was like 7 minutes or something like that. I was like, what?
And yeah, that's nuts. And that final act was just,
the action is unreal. Like, it's one unreal. Of the coolest, like, just like after that act and the actions kind of settle down, you just kind of sit back in your chair in the movie theater and you're like, woo.
and the great thing, and this is a lot to do with James, there's no quick cuts. There's no, you are not confused about anything that's going on in that action scene. Is it a long movie? Yeah. Did I make it through without having to go to the bathroom? No. But I wouldn't cut a moment out to give up just the moments where they're like underwater and where they're, you get a feel of the world.
Yeah, I
Um,
think I posted on Twitter that the movie, and I kind of retract this statement now. There's moments, and I think even in the first Avatar, there's these moments where they're just showing off.
yeah.
It's just showing off how pretty they can make things. And I said on Twitter, yeah, they could remove this stuff and easily shave off 20 or 30 minutes. But the more I thought about it, I was like, it was kind of like almost ethereal and relaxing to just kind of vibe with the movie and just take those really pretty scenes in. So could they
No,
have
and
shortened the movie? Sure, but
I
um, you
think
know,
I think also too this movie, we got 3 more films coming after this. There's I feel like a bunch of stuff that in this movie, especially, like you said, some of it where they're just in the world that's building towards what's going to happen further on down the line here. But it's so well done. Yeah, amazing. I'm trying to think. Funny thing is, like, as much as I love movies, there's a lot of stuff I did miss this year. It's like as far as the Marvel films, it's like Wakanda Forever was amazing.
we had
Just
Multiverse of Madness.
had Multiverse Madness, which I know not everyone liked, but I liked it. Thor: Love and Thunder. There's parts of that movie I really love, and there's parts of that movie that are just cringe. Um,
I haven't gone back and watched Love and Thunder since it came out on um since it's come out. I watched
but
it in the movie theater, and I need to go back and watch it again because
I
I
mean, Wakanda Forever was just so good. I mean, it was basically a 150 $200 million movie about grief
yeah,
and dealing with grief.
dealing with loss and grief. Yeah,
Grief
yeah,
and just so well done. So and I think the biggest thing I will say that I loved about the Marvel films this year is they all had their own distinct look.
yeah,
Which is something I think we've talked about before, is just we're finally getting more to a point with the Marvel films where they don't all look the same, which I am all for.
yeah.
Each movie had its own unique look to it, and I'm looking forward to more of that, and based on what we've seen so far with Ant-Man, Quantumania, and then Guardians 3, it's like we're going to continue that each movie is going to have their own feel, and people who complain about like, oh, we haven't really moved the story along. Well, I think starting with Ant-Man in February, we're going to start kicking the story along here
Yeah,
starting next year.
I think 2022 was kind of a transition year with the TVs and the movies. They're
Yeah.
they're still setting things up, but I really think with Ant-Man Quantumania, I think things are gonna with Kang, I think things are really gonna kick into high gear. So I
Oh
think we're
yeah.
in for some really good stuff next year for Marvel.
And I think
Um,
we're going to see the Guardians go through hell
yeah.
based on that trailer.
And then with TV, we had for Marvel, we had She-Hulk, we had Andor, for Star Wars, Moon Knight. What else did we have?
Miss Marvel was probably
Miss
my
Marvel.
favorite Marvel thing this year. It just
I could probably agree with you there. Moon Knight was
just
probably my second favorite. I really liked Moon Knight.
Moonlight was, and then the great thing about both of them were very unique. I mean, all of them were unique this year. I
She-Hulk got a
mean,
lot of hate that I don't think it deserved. I really liked
no,
She-Hulk.
She-Hulk was a lawyer. Basically, she said lawyer show.
Yeah, yeah,
Lawyer show slash almost situational comedy. I love that. Miss Marvel was this epic. Not only was this teenage sort of coming of age story, but then this epic historical story that brought something to light that a lot of people didn't know about.
yeah.
That is one of the most horrific things that happened in the 20th century.
Yep.
Moon Knight brought a whole different side to Marvel. Um, I mean, like I said, as far as like favorite shows of the year for me, Miss Marvel. Um, over on I really liked Rings of Power. I know a lot of people were mixed about it, but I've never seen a show that looks, I mean, that every single episode of that show looked like a movie.
Yeah.
Um
I think we watched the first episode. And
yeah.
I need to. We're trying last minute here to get caught up on things. I'm in Cobra Kai right now. We're Cheryl and I are watching Cobra Kai. We're like 4 or 5 episodes into that. Um, this season's really good. I think this show is starting to get a little long in the tooth. I think they need to start
Wrapping it up.
here soon. It's good. It's still really fun. It's still it still is what it is.
I think it's for me. It's definitely bounced back because was it the last season? I think that I was just sort of like,
Yeah.
Was it the last season or no? It was the third season.
I think it was
the one
season
where,
3. Yeah.
yeah, where it was like too much crease. It's like
Yeah.
I don't give two craps about his backstory.
Yeah.
That was where they sort of lost me for a while, but I think it's definitely bounced back. But I think, yeah, you're with Cobra Kai. I feel like we need to start getting to the end game here.
Yeah, they need to. I don't know how many more seasons they can go. Maybe 1 or 2 more, but they need to start. I feel like the show is starting to get along in the tooth with where it is. So
my other favorite show, The Sandman on Netflix. I mean, just the sheer fact that it's something I never ever thought we would get.
I watched the first episode of that by myself. I don't know if Cheryl has any interest in it or anything, but I watched the first episode. And it looks like it's going to be a really good.
It gets going, and the episode with Death is probably my favorite episode of television the entire year.
Yeah.
It's so different than anything else. I'll be honest, we still have not watched House of Dragons. We
watched. I think we watched the first 1 or 2 episodes. I can't remember with House of Dragons.
And still haven't gotten to it. We'll get to it. One of our favorite shows, my favorite shows, and Sin's favorite show is on Hulu. It's called Reservation Dogs, which basically is about a group of teenagers on a reservation in Oklahoma. There's nothing else that's ever been like this on TV. The entire, producers and directors and writers are all Native American, indigenous people. It just offers a completely unique point of view, and all the actors on it are just absolutely amazing. One of my favorite shows. And then, of course, last but not least, Andor. Andor, it's the best Star Wars thing. It's one of my favorite Star Wars things, period.
It's easily the best Star Wars thing to come out on Disney Plus.
Easily that, without a doubt. It just shows a completely different side of Star Wars that we've never seen before. I mean, we're basically the beginning of the rebellion and the hard choices.
Yeah.
That, we in the Star Wars movies, we got sort of the rah, 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 we're fighting the evil empire. Well, how did that all begin, and how many horrible things did people have to do? Because whenever there's revolution, there's always innocent people are going to die.
I think the thing that I love about Andor is just how intimate of a show it is. It's a much more intimate of a show. It's much more on a smaller scale. Given there's some really, I mean, don't take that for what it is. There's some really big scale fights and stuff.
Thank God that last episode is just amazing. Oh my God.
But I think one of my favorite things about Andor is like I said, it's a really intimate show, which it shows really well. So
no, and you see a side of the Empire you haven't seen before, and it's in no way sympathetic.
Yeah.
These are horrible people, and some of them are just part. And in one case, some of them are just part of the bureaucracy. But these are people. I think more so in the main, like the one female inspector, she thinks she's doing the right thing, but she's still a horrible, awful person. She may think it just, but everyone has to make horrible choices. I think, we've only seen, Mon Mothma basically have to make this horrible, awful choice because she has no choice to do something concerning her daughter is just, I mean, the price you pay to basically, attempt. There's no guarantee you're going to save the galaxy, but
Yeah.
it's just great show. As much as I do like the Mandalorian, it's just light years ahead of that, and just a whole different side of. I still can't believe that show got made because it's basically very, very anti-fascism, very, very.
Yeah. So all right, I think that's it. I think we touched pretty good on movies, TV shows. As far as 2023 goes, movies, there's a lot of good stuff lined up for 2023.
Ant-Man, Guardians, the Marvels.
Yeah. Yep.
We haven't even seen any of that yet. The last of the the old DC stuff's coming out. Shazam and Aquaman and the Flash.
John Wick 4.
John Wick 4, and then of course,
and Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1.
Yeah, that's the Tom Cruise thing I'm excited for. I mean,
Let's
you and I
go.
saw what the last Mission Impossible, at least three or four times in the movie theater.
Fallout, yeah.
Yeah,
we saw that several times in the theater.
Multiple times.
Just
one of my favorite action movies ever.
Fallout's so good. I need to go and rewatch that movie. It's so good. I've been so Maverick. I need to go watch the other.
No, I mean I am excited for Mission Impossible. It's
so
yeah, I think there's plenty to be excited for next year. It's a different movie world now. Everything's a little bit more spread out than it used to be.
Yeah.
There's not as many major films as there used to be. Which is not a bad thing because, like I said, some of these smaller movies, like Everything Everywhere All at Once, are able to break through now, sort of like the way it used to be.
I want to watch. I heard several people say that Bullet Train movie with Brad Pitt was good. I need to watch that. That's another one that
that's on Netflix, I think, right now.
Yeah, I think it dropped on Netflix, so I need to check that out as well.
And then of course, TV wise, we're getting Mandalorian season 3, and
Loki.
Some people I think Loki season 2. We're getting Secret Invasion. Secret Invasion. That's a big that. I think we're going to see, I think the Marvel series, at least those two are going to be a little bit bigger than in the past.
We're
Mandalorian season.
Aren't we also getting Ahsoka in 2023?
Ahsoka, we're also getting Ahsoka. And I think, some of the complaint I think about, Mandalorian has been, the stories were, a little bit small. They've said, and based on what little we've seen so far, it's going to be a little bit of bigger story this year, a little bit, because we're, for all intents and purposes, I believe we're going to Mandalore.
Yeah.
So it's things are going to get very big this year on Mandalorian, and then Bad Batch. It all really kicks off next month. I'll be with Bad Batch, Star Wars the Bad Batch season 2.
Yeah,
finally debuts.
So
plenty of stuff to look forward to pop culture wise next year.
Yeah, lots of goodies coming out next year. All right, let's jump back to theme park stuff, and we'll how long have we been going here? Hour and 13 minutes. All right, good stuff. Like I said, this could be a big one, and it's been. Thank you to everybody for that still hanging with us, chatting with us. If you're in the chat and you haven't said hello, please say hello. And we're gonna we're gonna wrap up here really quick with
lightning round.
Yeah, lightning round. We're gonna get through this kind of quick. 2023 theme park. What's coming 2023 to theme parks? I have some bullet points here. We'll go over and then we'll wrap up and get on out of here. We'll start with Epcot since I started 2022 with Epcot. Obviously, Journey of Water inspired by Moana. It sounds like late 2023, which I don't quite understand.
I know. It's like they installed Te Fiti.
Te Fiti's in there.
You can see her when you walk over on the other side. You can see her head poking out over the fence there, and yeah, and once again, I just will be happy for that whole area. Because
I'll
the
just be so
festival,
glad for the construction walls to go away.
yeah, the festival center has been going up vertical too.
Yep, they got a bunch of structure, metal structure up for that.
So
That's the other thing that I have written down here is Communicore Plaza and
yeah,
Communicore Hall. All that stuff should be done next year.
yeah,
And we can
that would be
finally have
nice.
a normal Epcot
It's been how
front
many
area
years now?
again. Yeah, it's been too long. And then obviously the big
Tron.
news out of Epcot is Harmonious will be going away.
Yeah.
Details are still vague. Disney hasn't released any details about what's gonna be replacing it. There's been a lot of chatter.
Of some sort of Disney 100.
Disney
show?
100 show. Yeah.
Yeah. No one even knows whether Epcot Forever is coming back. What's going to go? I mean, like I said, the closing of Harmonious and less so Enchantment was definitely one of the shocking stories of 2022. Harmonious was supposed to run for at least a decade.
Yeah.
But that gives you an idea of just how negative guest feedback has been. I like the show, albeit you have to watch the show in certain areas, and that's one of the problems that has been with the entire show is it's only looks good from certain spots.
Yeah.
But the negative feedback during the day has been one of the biggest things. It's visual garbage in the lagoon during the day.
Yeah, those giant taco floats and the big Stargate ring in the middle. It's not the most pleasant thing to look at.
But yeah, when it comes down to negative guest feedback, and you can tell because I guess based on things we've heard, the restaurants were not happy because they were not. You could easily often get a reservation at an Epcot restaurant in the evening. That's not what nighttime shows are supposed to do there. So
yeah.
it's I enjoy the show, and I'm going to see it as many times as I can before it ends March 31st.
Yeah, but that's the big news out of Epcot for 2023 is obviously Disney invested a lot of money into the show with the barges and everything, and they're just gonna.
All I will tell people, and I think we've said this before, go watch the new Tokyo Disney Sea show, and you'll see barges that move.
Yeah,
with LED screens on them, and if we can get something like that. That'd be pretty cool.
Over at Magic Kingdom, it's going to be an interesting year next year. I know at D23 Expo, they announced, you and I being Haunted Mansion fans, they didn't announce a time frame for the Hatbox Ghost. Could we see him next year? We'll see, but
we'll see.
Maybe Hatbox Ghost 2023. I wrote that down with a big question mark next to it.
And I think you and I are both in agreement that if they're going to bring the Hatbox Ghost in, it's time for our mansion to go down again. For a major refurb.
Yeah. I think we talked about that before. I think it's time for mansion to go down for a lengthy refurbishment. It needs a lot of TLC. It needs some cleaning up. It needs some love. So yeah, no,
there's definitely some effects that could be updated in that thing.
Yeah, there's definitely some stuff that could be updated. The ride could just get get some good TLC to our beloved Haunted Mansion. What else do I have written down here? Obviously Tron. Yay, we're getting Tron next year.
Who, if you saw a certain leaked video, apparently the pre-show has been done for a little while.
Oh yeah, I saw that circulating online.
We all expect Tron's probably going to get a fairly lengthy preview window.
Yeah.
So, which is like they did a pretty good one for Guardians, and we're all for that. That was sort of one of the things that wasn't that great about Galaxy's Edge was there weren't a lot of previews. But
yeah.
We're just going to be happy that it's open.
I'm excited for it. I'm just excited I won't have to go to Shanghai to ride it because that was really one of the coolest. That and Pirates at Shanghai are the only two things over there that I would love to ride.
We get some cool merchandise, but I'm not counting on it because.
Yeah, I hope we get some really cool Tron merchandise. I'm a sucker for some good Tron merchandise. I love Tron. I love the franchise. I love the nerdy, cult following it has. I'm a huge part of it. I have a Tron little section over here on my shelf with the Light Cycle Lego set and a few other little Tron things. So we'll see with merchandise. And then obviously the big news out of Magic Kingdom, Splash Mountain will be closing to make way for Tiana's Bayou Adventure.
Yeah, I mean, that's this. I think some people were shocked that ours is closing first.
Over Disneyland's, yeah.
Over Disneyland's. But I mean, we've stated our opinions on this before. I just, like I said, I hope they spend all the money. They don't cheap out on it. And yes, will I go ride Splash one more time before it closes? Yes, because I mean,
we have to get Connor and Charlotte on it. They haven't ridden it at all yet. So I will be riding Splash Mountain at least one more time.
While myself and Sin aren't the biggest fans of the attraction, it's like we're still going to go ride it one last time.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward. I'm fingers crossed that this is an update that I really hope the Imagineers knock out of the park. And I like the fact that it's going to be its own thing, its own original thing, that it's not going to be a book report version of the movie.
Yeah. It's going to be a sequel, right? It's going to be a sequel to the first movie.
It's basically a sequel to the first movie.
Yeah.
And like,
which kind of sucks for me because I want Facilier in it, and unless they bring him back somehow.
Yeah, because
he didn't really die. He just got kind of dragged into the. Excuse me, I'm hitting my microphone. He just kind of got dragged into hell, the underground, I guess.
Yeah, and there's some rumors that this is going to also sort of tie in with the new series too, because the series takes place after the movie.
That's right. I forgot the Princess and the Frog series coming out too.
I just hope still has a ton of animatronics. And I hope Tiana's animatronic is going to be like some of the bells from the Beauty
from Tokyo,
from Tokyo. I just hope the Imagineering wows us, because that's what I want, and I want animatronic. I don't want to lose a bunch of animatronics. That's basically how I feel about that.
Agreed.
And I think the one thing, and then Happily Ever After is coming back in some new version.
Yeah, that was the other thing that Tomorrow teased at D23 Expo was. It's coming back in some way, fashion, updated, and so
I think I imagine the show's going to get some updates. Obviously, probably Main Street projections.
Yeah,
additional. They've upgraded the lasers, so I imagine a more impressive laser part of the show. They might switch out some things, but why would you change too much? I mean, it's
Happily Ever After was perfect as it is.
It was pretty much perfect as it is.
Yeah.
Like I said, if you want to throw some more characters up in some sequences,
that's fine. I'm sure. Kind of like what they did with Fantasmic. Fantasmic they dropped Mirabelle, and I think maybe a few others.
If you make the show, add another sequence, make the show longer.
Yeah, right.
Spend more money.
I think that wraps it up for 2023 for Magic Kingdom. Over at Hollywood Studios, Roundup Rodeo Barbecue, we finally heard that'll be opening up early 2023. And then yay, barbecue restaurant in Toy Story Land.
Restaurant.
And then I think that's it for Disney. Obviously, there's what's that over at Disney Springs, that new restaurant that's starting to go vertical. They got the structure up for that over there across from.
There's that one, and there's also the one in the bake shop at the boardwalk is all.
Yeah, that one too. So that's it.
There's some stuff to look forward to.
Yeah, that's it for the major stuff coming to Disney in 2023. Obviously, we won't spend much time talking about it over at Universal Orlando. The Illuminations Villain Con Minion Blast, which we talked about on the last stream, will be coming to Universal Studios Florida next year, so we're excited about that. Got a new attraction because Universal Orlando, I didn't really get anything new this year at either park.
No,
so it'll be good.
I feel like Villain Con, I think originally they were going to like warp speed it, but then I think they decided, we need something for 2023 besides. They are going to redo Kid Zone, but it's
that's the other thing.
Going to be the extensive redo that some people would hope for. I think that's coming after Epic Universe, but
that's the other thing that I didn't write down is Kid Zone will be closing in a couple weeks here, actually, early January.
It'll give that part of the park. I think Kid Zone. I think is pretty much going to be like the DreamWorks area.
Yeah, which is what they've kind of done already with what's the dance show thing that they got there in the former
DreamWorks
Barney
Destination.
Destination. Yeah, they've already kind of added some DreamWorks goodies to it.
It's not going to be that massive of a retheme. But
that area needs something. I mean, what kid knows who the hell knows who Fievel is? It's like
no. I mean, it's a Band-Aid. We talked on here before, and based on a lot of what we hear, the studios is going to, after Epic opens, the studios is going to be the next big project because there's a lot of
work that needs to be done at that park.
Needs to be done in that park. After Epic opens, so. But this is sort of like, this will keep the studios fine for a little while, for the next few years.
And then that's it for Universal. Obviously, over at SeaWorld 2023 Pipeline, the surf coaster will be opening. They're B&M's new updated version of the stand-up coaster, so we'll see how that goes. Curious to check that out. Over at Busch Gardens, Serengeti Flyer will be opening. That's the swing ride, which they've pretty much got that thing up, so that thing should be ready to go early. I mean, it's not a very difficult ride to build, and so that should be opening up fairly early 2023. Obviously, over in California, Universal Studios Hollywood. I mean, we didn't touch on California a whole lot. Disneyland, you've got. I think I took Disneyland notes here somewhere on my.
You
list.
Have a new night.
Disney 100, Runaway Railway. The Magic Happens Parade will be coming back.
World of Color 1.
Yeah,
the new World of Color show. You've got a completely revamped Toontown reopening. Yep. So yeah, Disneyland, pretty much the Disney 100 celebration is going to be at Disneyland.
Yeah.
So everyone knows our feelings about all this.
Yeah. Disneyland gets all the fun stuff.
Universal Hollywood's probably is going to open the biggest shot across the bow at Disneyland they've ever done with Super Nintendo opening.
Super Nintendo World's opening fairly soon here. Pass holder previews and all. We got all the details up on the website. If you're over there on the West Coast.
The thing that's got me excited the most, and especially if fingers crossed, we may actually be out there not too far after the opening, is so far it seems like they're bringing a lot of the food and drinks from Japan.
Yeah, they opened
over here.
They opened up a popcorn stand with some of the what is it? The drinks, the smoothie drinks, or whatever it is that you can get.
The Mario, Luigi, Peach, and and Toad, I think.
So drinks. Fingers crossed that we continue to get more of Japan's food and items.
Because it looks like, based on like some of the information they read, like was it Toad's Cafe? Looks like it's all the same. Almost all the same menu items from Japan. And all I've got to say is, you people out in Hollywood, you better buy that drinks and food. And because this has been our thing we've wanted with Super Nintendo World, is we don't want a dumbed down menu. We want all that crazy funky stuff from Japan, because
I'm wondering if that's a big Nintendo thing. If they're sticking to it. Maybe they're.
I hope it's something that it's a Nintendo thing, and I hope if it does well, maybe that will get Universal to be a little bit more daring and bring some of the occasional crazy stuff over from Japan.
Yeah.
Since they do fully own Universal Japan now.
Yeah.
And they're getting a new parade, a new daytime parade that's going to have Nintendo in it, which I think was just announced today.
Yeah, they announced. I forgot. I don't have it here in front of me, but the launch date was announced today for that new parade over at Universal Studios Japan.
So bring that over here too.
Yeah.
And bring that damn nighttime parade here.
Yep. Bring it over. Okay, I think that's it. And then obviously over at Legoland, Pirate River Quest opens up next year at their park, so that's what they got for 2023.
I think we already got an invite for that. That's coming soon.
The media event will be happening here soon, so I'm going to try and see if I can get time off for that to go out to Legoland and check that out. I think that's about it as far as big things, theme parks 2023. I know we said we haven't talked about Top Thrill Dragster at Cedar Point, but I don't think that's going to be next year. Whatever they're doing
Who
to
knows?
the way they've been tearing it apart and everything. So we're watching that closely to see what happens with that. Obviously Cedar Point's working closely with Vekoma lately. So, and there was some discussion that Vekoma is going to oversee the overhaul of Dragster. So I'll be curious where that goes.
That just sounds weird because it's not like Intamin isn't a company that still exists right now.
Yeah,
but
yeah, Intamin's still a thing. So, and then I'm trying to think right off the top of my head. I don't want to sit here too long and ponder.
No, I mean,
national
I think
parks.
Yeah, 2023 is going to be really a lot of stuff out there. I think I mean for Tokyo Disney, they will be celebrating their 40th anniversary. So brand new parade, and this will be on top of the new Sea of Dreams show. And I think it's the final year of their original Space Mountain will run.
That's right. They're doing that huge overhaul of Space Mountain.
Yeah, it basically it's going, I believe, 3 years it's going to take.
Yeah, it's a huge overhaul.
They haven't said, but it really seems like they're probably going to use the same technology as Cosmic Rewind for this, because it very much looks like they're going to be building a gigantic show building.
Yeah,
with a new updated facade for Space Mountain. So yeah, and fingers crossed. Like ThrillGeek's probably going to go on the road a little bit more this year because Sin and I will be traveling more than likely back to Japan this year.
Japan, yay!
And we maybe back out in California in time for Super Nintendo World, and for some of the new Disneyland stuff. So
yeah,
I'm excited.
Speaking of ThrillGeek itself, we have some exciting stuff in the plans. In the works. Not gonna say what, but 2023 should be a fun year for ThrillGeek, and I'm excited as to what's in store, where it goes, and everything. And I can't thank everybody again for all the support they've given us this year. Like I said, not just with Halloween Horror Nights, but everywhere, across our social media channels, the website. I appreciate all the support and all the love you guys give us over the year with everything that we do.
Thank you to everyone. Thank you. I mean, it's amazing how much things have grown. And of course, everyone who's not here, thank you, especially Clint and I. Thank you, especially to Emily. We would not be able to do this if it wasn't for Emily, because she picks up a lot of the slack.
That 100%.
100%. And thank you to Travis, Madison, Kelly,
Janine.
One more person, Janine,
yep.
who have joined us in the last year or so. Thank you for all the work that you do, because it all of us work full-time jobs and do this other full-time job on the side, especially the three of us, myself, Clint, and Emily. It is like a second full-time job that we have.
Pretty much is.
But we love it.
A second full-time job that, that doesn't make a whole lot of money, but I love doing it. No. And, that's why I keep doing it.
We wouldn't do this if we didn't love it.
Yeah. If this became, given it has become a chore, I shouldn't say if it's become a chore.
There's a reason we took a break for a few months.
Like when we started the stream a couple weeks ago, we took a break from it because this stuff it's exhausting, but it's fun. It's a mix of several emotions. So
and that's why we started the Discord channel, because we love talking about this, and we want to give a place where everyone who follows us can talk about it in a nice, safe environment. And especially with as much as we love Twitter has become very crazy.
The crazy show that Twitter's become.
But we'll stick it out there until
we're not going anywhere on Twitter. You know, Twitter is one of our biggest followings. You know, as it continues to crumble to the ground, you know, we'll still be there. But yeah, no, and yes, no. Thank you to everybody who supports us, everybody that's helped us out. You know, I'm sure there's a few other people in there that have contributed to ThrillGeek in some way. You know, whether a lot or a little. We appreciate the support, and we're looking forward to seeing you guys in 2023, especially at Halloween Horror Nights as usual, because that's our bread and butter is Halloween Horror Nights. So,
and as usual, whenever you see us in the parks, please stop and say hi.
Yes, please do. I had somebody on Twitter when I was at Epcot last week with Emily. They said they spotted me and you know me, I'm a fast walker, and I was skipping through somewhere, and they said they saw me, and I was like, you should have said hi. But yeah, no, if you see in this parks, you know, and you know, you have the opportunity, don't be afraid to walk up and say hi, and you know, we'll chit chat for a few minutes about whatever, and go on our merry way. But yeah, we love meeting new people, and that's one of the coolest things with ThrillGeek I've had over. Speaking of 10 years next year, ThrillGeek will be 10 years old next year. Can you believe that?
That's insane.
Woo!
And I will be. Yeah, next year will be 7 years for me.
Yeah, I started it. Next year will be 10 years. So we'll have to come up with something fun for 10 year. Maybe do some giveaways or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. So
another new logo.
Yeah. No, everybody likes the TG. It's cool. It's catchy. And
but now you have to incorporate a 10 in there somehow.
Yeah, I'll pick Cheryl's brain. Maybe I can figure out how to put a 10 in there somewhere or something. So, but anyways, yes, thank you guys for everything. We appreciate you guys. This will be our final stream of 2022. We're going to take next week off. No live stream next week. As we kind of enjoy that kind of little holiday break.
Fun.
Yeah, New Year's Eve, all that stuff. So we will see you guys in 2023. Everybody have a safe, happy holiday season.
Yes.
And have a safe New Year's. And we'll see you guys next year and all that fun stuff. So, Barry, tell everybody where you can follow us on social media. You already mentioned the Discord server, which, by the way, the link is in our Twitter handle. So if you want to join our Discord server, head on over to our Twitter handle.
They haven't banned that.
Huh?
They haven't banned that.
Yeah. Discord wasn't on Elon's list of well, apparently that whole thing went away.
Yeah.
That whole thing went away. So anyways.
Maybe hopefully he will go away too.
But yeah, no, if you want to join our Discord server, there's a link in our Twitter bio. Just click on that and you're joining. You'll be in. Say hello, all that stuff. So, Barry, tell everybody else all of our other social media outlets and all that jazz.
We are at ThrillGeek on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And make sure if you're on TikTok, please follow us on TikTok because we're doing a lot more stuff on TikTok. Facebook.com/ThrillGeek. Facebook.com/ThrillGeek. Please like and follow our Facebook page. YouTube.com/ThrillGeek. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And we still have a couple more Disneyland videos that'll be coming within the next week or two on our YouTube channel. ThrillGeek.com for the latest in theme park and pop culture news. And of course, Twitch.tv/ThrillGeek, where you can find ThrillGeek This Week. And I think that's it.
Yeah. I think that covers everything. Follow us on the socials, all the socials, yes, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, all that jazz. I created what's the new one, Mastodon or whatever it is that everybody's been flocking over to.
Did you figure that out? I tried to figure that out the other night. I'm just like,
I can't figure it out. Annoying. So we have a ThrillGeek Mastodon if you want to follow us there. If somebody wants to tell us how the hell to work it. I haven't
been back since.
Yeah.
And then I've heard bad things about Hive, and then what post you have to apply for or something.
I don't know anything about Hive or Mastodon, so anyways. As I said, guys,
we're out there.
Yeah, we're out there. Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, all that stuff, TikTok, all that stuff. But as I said, guys, thank you so much for 2022. We'll see you all next year. Be safe. Have a happy holiday. Take care. Bye-bye.
Stay safe. We'll see you in the parks. Have a wonderful year.